A/B testing cold calling scripts for better results. Cold calling is harder in 2025, but it's not broken. Cold calling is still one of the fastest ways to reach B2B decision makers, but the spray and pray approach is getting punished. Recent benchmarks put the average dial to meeting success rate at just 2.3% in 2025, down from 4.82% in 2024, which is exactly why scripts can't stay static anymore. The teams winning right now aren't magically calling better lists or hiring unicorn cold callers. They're running their phones like an experiment. When your script is treated as a living asset and improved through disciplined A/B testing, it's realistic to move from random meetings to a predictable channel that supports pipeline targets. In this article, we'll walk through a practical A/B testing process for cold calling scripts that works whether you're running an in-house SDR pod or partnering with a cold calling agency. The goal is simple: improve meetings booked per 100 live connects without turning your team into robots or drowning in noisy data. Why A/B testing matters. The gap between average and elite is massive. The average cold call is trending in the wrong direction, which means the penalty for generic messaging is higher than it used to be. At the same time, top prospectors consistently outperform. Rain Group research shows top performers generate 52 conversions per 100 target contacts versus 19 for everyone else, a 2.7x gap that's heavily influenced by sharper messaging and value propositions. Most teams already use scripts, but they rarely improve them systematically. One dataset suggests about 45% of cold calls are made with a script, yet only 24% of those scripts are considered effective, an uncomfortable signal that having a script is not the same as having a tested script. This is why we treat A/B testing as a core outbound discipline inside our cold calling services. It's one of the few levers that reliably moves outcomes without needing more headcount, more dials, or a complete rebuild of your outbound sales agency motion. Start with one metric and one variable, or your results won't be trustworthy. Before you touch a line of your script, pick the one metric you're optimizing for. For most SDR teams, meetings booked per 100 live connects is the cleanest North Star because it's close to pipeline, easy to measure, and not overly influenced by downstream process issues like deal stage hygiene. Next, enforce the rule that makes A/B testing real. Change one thing per test, no exceptions. If version B has a new opener, a new value prop, and a new close, you won't know what caused the change, and you'll end up with debates instead of decisions. Finally, design your tests around reality, not wishful thinking. If it takes an average of 3 call attempts to connect with a lead, then your script winner should hold up across a cadence, not just one lucky conversation. That means keeping your list, source, persona, and calling windows consistent so you're comparing the script, not the conditions. How to run a script A/B test in the real world without slowing the team down. A practical test can start this week. Choose 2 versions of the same call moment, usually the opener, split live connects between A and B, and tag each call in your CRM so reporting isn't guesswork. If you have a dialer, alternate versions automatically. If you don't, assign reps to a single version for the full window so switching doesn't contaminate the data. Sample size is where teams unintentionally sabotage themselves. Declaring a winner after 10 or 20 connects is basically flipping a coin. So we recommend a minimum of 50 to 100 live conversations per variant for mid-market B2B before you lock anything in, paired with a time box, often 2 to 3 weeks, to avoid forever tests that never ship. To keep the system clean, standardize outcomes like booked meeting, not a fit, callback requested, and qualified nurture, and train reps to tag every connect the same way. That one operational change usually does more for script testing accuracy than buying another tool. If you can't say exactly what you changed and exactly what metric improved, you didn't run a test, you ran a guess. What to test first? Openings, then value props, then the close. Start where most calls die, the first 20 to 30 seconds. Gong's research is the clearest proof point here. Opening with, "How have you been?" was associated with a 10.01% meeting rate versus a 1.5% baseline, a 6.6 times lift from a single line change. Once an opener reliably earns you the next minute, test your reason for calling and value proposition. The best test compare two frames for the same offer. For example, outcome first versus proof first, while keeping everything else identical, so you can isolate which positioning makes prospects lean in rather than go silent. Then move to the close, how you ask for the meeting, what you propose as the next step, and how you handle soft resistance like, "Send me something." If your team is serious about becoming one of the best cold calling companies in your category, you can't only optimize hooks, you have to optimize the entire flow from opening to commitment. Avoid the mistakes that quietly ruin most script tests. The most common failure is testing 5 elements at once. It feels faster, but it destroys clarity because you can't tell whether the opener, the proof point, or the CTA caused the lift. The fix is boring but effective. One change per test, and the winning variant becomes the new control before you test the next element. The next killer is small samples and rep self-selection. A handful of yes responses can make any script look amazing, and letting reps choose A or B bakes bias into the results because your strongest rep will naturally gravitate to the version they like. Lock assignments for the entire window and wait until you have enough connects to trust the signal. Finally, don't turn the script into a monologue. Prospects can hear rigidity immediately, and overscripting reduces curiosity and discovery quality even if your opener is strong. The approach that scales best is scripting the structure, tested talk tracks, transitions, and questions, while coaching reps to deliver it in a natural voice that still preserves the tested elements. Level up results by combining data with call listening and cross-channel learnings. Numbers tell you which version wins, recordings tell you why. During a test, block time each week for managers and reps to listen to 10 to 15 calls per variant and capture patterns like where prospects interrupt, where objections spike, and what phrasing creates momentum. That qualitative layer prevents you from overfitting to luck and helps you design the next experiment quickly. Your phone messaging also shouldn't live in a vacuum. A well-known cold email A/B test produced a 97% increase in appointments by changing messaging, and the same experimentation logic applies to calls: consistent hypotheses, clean tagging, and fast iteration. If you work with a cold email agency or run LinkedIn outreach services alongside phones, port winning hooks and proof points across channels to strengthen the whole cadence. This is also where tooling helps, even if it's lightweight. A dialer that logs activity, a CRM with enforced dispositions, and call recording to support coaching. If you're evaluating sales outsourcing or an outsourced sales team, ask whether the provider can run structured experiments and share an experiment log, because optimization without documentation turns into chaos fast. How we make script testing scalable and what to do next. The biggest unlock in A/B testing is volume plus consistency. More live connects, cleaner tagging, and a disciplined cadence of test, decide, roll out, repeat. That's why many teams either build an internal outbound sales agency function or partner with a sales development agency that already has the process, management muscle, and reporting to run experiments continuously. At SalesHive, we've built our cold call services around structured experimentation because it's the most reliable way to improve meetings per 100 connects without burning out reps. As a US-based B2B lead generation agency founded in 2016, We combine trained SDR teams with an AI-powered platform, so script variants, outcomes, and learnings are captured systematically and rolled into a repeatable playbook. If you want to start internally, choose one KPI, baseline the last 4 to 8 weeks, and run a single opener test until you reach 50 to 100 connects per version. Then lock the winner and queue the next test. If you need speed, higher volume, or you're comparing SDR agencies, prioritize partners who can prove they run controlled tests and document results, because that's how B2B cold calling services become predictable instead of painful.